So, good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
I think we three are together after a couple of years. I think more than 2 years now. Thanks for coming to Bangladesh. And I just like to have a conversation with you and Mohaimin regarding how we started Crimson Cup Bangladesh. I mean, how Crimson Cup Bangladesh came into reckoning. I mean, uh, I know for a fact it was Mohaimin that had approached you in back in 2014, and I think we'd love to hear the story about how that happened and how you felt when you were first approached by him, and we never heard that story, so that'd be fun.
Well, certainly, I think there's a couple different stories. You'll hear from Mohaimin later and hear from me now, but you can decide which one you like better and go with that or a combination of those two. But I remember, so I started Crimson Cup in 1991, and so this was around 2015. So where I got an email, I guess, but I get so many emails, it's really tough to respond to all of them. But here's what I've come to find. I've come to find if people are persistent, then they might have something more to say than if just somebody sends one email. So Mohaimin probably sent, I don't know,
I've sent you like 30 emails.
20? Something like
that.
But, and so he wanted to get together. And I said, well, somebody with this much persistence, I have to get in touch with. So I had him come down to our innovation lab where we do our testing of coffee and stuff like that. And Mohaimin came down and met with him. And he said he loved our coffee where he was going to school, which was the Ohio State University. And he wanted to go back to Bangladesh. He thought coffee was going to come around at that point. And I said, well, that could be good. So I don't know much about Bangladesh, so can you tell me more? So I got to understand where Bangladesh was in the coffee culture and said, that's really interesting, because when I started Crimson Cup in 1991, there wasn't really, people didn't know much about coffee or specialty coffee. So Mohaimin, how we left the meeting was Mohaimin said, look, I'm going back to Bangladesh. Here's how the real estate market works there. If I find something, then I'm going to go out and get it. And I said, oh, hold on. You don't have to do that right away.
Yeah.
He goes, no, that's what's going to happen. I said, okay. When he left my office, I didn't think I'd hear from him again.
Right.
And then about maybe a month or two later, I get this email. Hey, I found a place. I'm ready to go. I put down the money for the real estate. I'm ready. Because we didn't have anything set up. We didn't have the franchise set up. We didn't have anything set up. But here's what I knew. I knew that Mohaimin was persistent. I knew that he really wanted to do it. I wanted to support him. And so I said, Mohaimin, go ahead and do it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to help you and make sure you're taken care of over there. And that's really how the first one kind of came to be.
Yeah. So I remember him and I meeting for after 2 years. I was in England, and he came back from the US, and we weren't really in touch for those 2 years. But then after he came back, he I think we met at a cafe, and he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, that's such a coincidence. I mean, I said, I used to love going to coffee shops back in England, and I used to try different types of coffee. So I want to do a coffee shop over here. And he's like, hey, that's great, because I think I have something that's going to interest you. Let's do something together. And we've been friends in school. Let's do something together. And that is how he told me about you and about how he...
how did you feel when you heard about Greg the first time? Like, how was the idea?
The first, I did not believe him, to be honest. I said, Mohaimin bringing an American franchise, it's probably not true. Among many things he says, this is actually one of them. It's just, I really did not believe him. But then I actually went to Google, and I found out about, your journey and Crimson Cup's journey in the Midwest and throughout the US, and so I think I spoke to him and I said, you were a young bunch of 23-year-olds, and we said, let's try, and let's see what happens. And I think now he can say, on you said you're part of the story, and I think he would
I
even
know.
say, it's fine.
Mohaimin is still hurt by me not getting back to him.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear his side of the
No,
story.
like what happened was that I used to see Crimson Cup at the campus, at the Ohio State campus, right? So at the library, I used to have the frozen Crimson Cup mocha every day. So that time I had no idea about this coffee business and stuff, right? So when I was planning to come back to Bangladesh, and then I was trying different stuff. I met different people. So there was a guy like who owns most of the subways in Columbus. So he told me that why didn't you talk to this guy called Greg, and he's a very open-minded guy, and you can actually take this chain to Bangladesh because this is like a high-end coffee, and we know that Bangladesh can be the next big thing, So, and then I thought that okay, let me try to meet him before I come back. So I think that I come back in August or something, and I was sending you the emails from June. And then you were not replying, and then I used to call at your office every day.
Yeah.
So at that time, Denise used to pick up the call that time. So she used to tell me every day that no, he's not available, he's not available. Then suddenly, I think she told you to maybe reply me back, and then I came to your office. So I thought that meeting was the franchise happened already. So I didn't know what will he will explain later what happened afterwards. I never thought of that. This will actually come this way. And then you asked me the first time that what is Bangladesh? So it's a very common thing to ask mostly people from the Midwest. They don't know Bangladesh much. So we have to always say that it is a country beside India. And then I told you a few things. Most of them were not true, maybe. But so Bangladesh is a very vibrant economy and everything. So that time it was not that way, I guess.
Now
but
it is.
Now it is. Oh yeah. So yeah, then after I came back, as you said, we met at a coffee shop in Bonani. Actually, me, him, and there were a few other friends also. And I always believed that it's like a teamwork always, and together, if we together something, then this will become successful. And then we got an email to do the research. So, as he said, he never believed. Also, I never believed. Actually, no one else believed that what we're doing. You yourself thought that I will not come back to you, but still we went through that whole process. That of doing the market research, and the rest you can actually explain what happened after that.
I mean, after that, my memory is I think we got on a Skype meeting. Mohaimin, you, me, and I. We got on a Skype meeting, and you told us to do a business plan. I think he said, "I'd like to see a business plan on because if you want to do the story in Bonani, I want to see a business plan." And I think we sent you the business plan 3 times. And on the third time, I think you had sent us an email, which I remember a line very distinctively. The email that line had said, "Hey, you guys are right now on a recipe for disaster." So that you had
I
said.
hope you appreciated my being straightforward.
Yeah, of course. I mean, see, if you did not push us to make and go and do the business plan again and again and again, we wouldn't be doing our research properly. So it is you who wanted numbers. It is you who wanted us to give give you an idea about the sales of other cafes and other coffee shops and the footfalls and what kind of coffee they were selling and what was their most popular item. So what we did, right? We don't know how to get this data. I mean, we wouldn't know because there is no library or the Google can't tell us this. So me and him, we went and sat at these coffee shops from morning, let's say 10 a.m. till night, 10 p.m. We'd be sitting at one corner, ordering one coffee after the other, and just counting the number of people that's coming in every day, weekdays and weekends, and take a table beside the counter just to know what they're ordering. So the number of orders, so cappuccino orders 10, latte ordered 5. So that's how we did our research, and that's how I think we created the business plan and we sent it to you. And on the fourth attempt, I think you said that anyway, I like it, and I think we went on Skype again, and you said we are good to go, and let's try to bring in the beans first of all. And my memory is we got the packet. You sent us £1, or
Yeah, 5 pounds back.
five pounds
Sanders,
back.
yeah.
5 pounds bag you sent us, and so what we did was we took that packet, and our friend had a cafe, so we went there and we took beans from another popular coffee shop, which I should not name, but a popular, very popular coffee shop. So we had their barista, our friend's cafe's barista, made coffee from those beans and made coffee from Armando Blends, I mean Crimson Cups beans. So and we invited like 50, 60 of our friends, not at once, but throughout the day and throughout the next couple of days, and we had them do blind tasting on lattes like we did yesterday. So um, people mostly people said that they liked this one better, Crimson Cup one better, because it was more sweet, nutty, and how we explain it, and the other one was a bit dark, dark roast, and bitter sometimes. So that blind tasting had I mean, we were convinced to do this. And also I need to mention June said that if I see that people going for crimson in the blind tasting, I'll go with you guys, I'll be with you guys. Otherwise I'll not be with you guys. So one, and then we made him do the blind tasting, and he preferred okay, without knowing the crimson cup beans. So that gave us a lot of confidence, and that gave us a lot of boost. So and I remember you said you guys start, but it'll have to be a different name. Right now, I'll only be supplying the beans to you and the cups and the expertise and the training, but I cannot really give the franchise right now. That is what you said, and that is how we came up with Columbus Coffee. I think that'll be very memorable for us, Columbus Coffee. But I'd want you to know, I mean, the thought behind that. I mean, I think I know, but people who are listening or people who are seeing us would want to know, the thought behind not giving the franchise at first, but just the beans. So
Yeah, I think all of what you said, both of you said, is really what we've learned, or what I've learned over time, is that you did the work, right? You both did the serious work that's needed and necessary. Because what I found is people who aren't willing to do that, they're probably not going to be really successful being an entrepreneur, because it takes so much hard work, as you two all know. But since you were doing the hard work, that's why I was asking it from you, not to put you through any kind of hurt or anything like that, but to make sure that you were tested in some regards, because that's kind of what's needed, and you all know that very well now. And that's part of a meaningful relationship too, because you all did what I asked. So that's just what I learned through my company, since we set up business owners throughout the United States. And that's just what I learned. That's why I wrote the book that I wrote, because I wanted people to be able to follow that. And if they could follow it and understand it, then we could teach. Right. And so you all fit that category and fit it really well. And so that's what's allowed the continued success here, is you two all getting in the business, understanding the business, because there's obviously a lot of work after you put a store up, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, so when you said you gave us the green light to go ahead, I think we were over the moon, and we said, we'll start with a different name. if we get the beans and the cup and the recipes and everything else.
No, that time we were actually confused that if it's not a Crimson Cup, then how to maybe because say like in Bangladesh bringing a US franchise and market wise was a big deal. So people like might say that oh that's a fake brand and it's not good quality coffee. So people at that time people have like had the perception of being a US franchise was a big deal that time because I think we were the first one in a coffee business and no one else did that before. So then Rehan came across with the name as it's from Columbus. So we had the belief that from this after 3 months we will get the franchise. So just name it like Columbus Coffee, so people they can relate. So Crimson Cup is from Columbus, Ohio. So then we'll change the name. So you will see in
And also, Columbus is a name that everybody knows. Christopher Columbus, everybody knows.
easier to say. So that's why we have the tag below always since 1991 Columbus, Ohio. So yeah, after we just switch the names, it's easier. So we thought it that way. So that time, this is how we came across Columbus Coffee. Even till today, I see that there are many people who still remembers us as Columbus Coffee. So
It's a great name to
Yeah.
pick and choose just from the marketing aspects like you're so good at, Rehan, and being able to do that, being able to know that we're going to come in with the switch,
Yeah.
get there as soon as we possibly could, because that was another one of those funny things when I told my people like we're going to Bangladesh,
Yeah.
they look at me like they sometimes do, like I'm crazy. And that's when I know when I'm on the right path. When I get people looking at me thinking I'm crazy, I'm like, okay, they haven't thought of this before. They don't know what it's about, and they don't know these two too. So it was kind of fun to be able to do that.
So what happened within your office there? Like when the things were coming across Bangladesh, Steve came into Bangladesh. So what happened that time actually? So
Well, I think when I told Steve, he's our head trainer, and he's here with me this time. We came several years ago too. So I mentioned to him like, hey, here's where you're going, and here's why, and there's some wonderful people there, and here's the story. I don't know whether it'll work or not, but I'll tell you this: with the team that's over there in Bangladesh, we got a really good shot at it. So I said, here's what I want you to do, Steve. I want you to go over and train just like you normally do. Spend as much time there and make sure you take care of them and they know how to do things when you leave.
Yeah.
And so that's how
Yeah.
that happened.
So him coming over here and training our staff, baristas then and managers, general managers and HR heads now. As you saw last night, I mean, the training still persists with them, and they are still, making the same level of coffee. So, no, like going back to the Columbus Coffee discussion. I mean, when we opened Columbus Coffee, it was a range, and I think you know it. And we thought that we have enough goods for 3 months. It's just over in 3 weeks, and then you know what happened, and this COGS of more than 100%, all of these and that. So we somehow, rode the storm and, fought through everything and got to Crimson Cup. And then I think that was a big responsibility for us when you said, okay, now I think it's time to, change everything and, get the franchise officially. So at which point did you think that, okay, now I should give these guys the permission to use Crimson Cup?
Well, I think that was already in the plan, but in the States, it takes a while to put together the franchise offering.
Right.
So it was really more from the standpoint of logistics over there and time, because it takes a little bit of time. It takes it all depends, maybe 90 days to set it up.
Right.
So when Mohaimin came back and told me he's opening up a store, I said, okay, well, I needed another 90 days at least to kind of work this through all the paperwork stuff that needs to get done. But there wasn't a doubt in my mind that again, just with the way you two operated up until the point of opening, right? There wasn't a doubt in my mind that we're going to give it the full shot, right? We were going to support it any way we could and make sure it could be successful because, as you just said, we had to figure out a lot of things. It wasn't just getting the franchise agreement. We had to figure out logistics because we didn't know. We've sent to Guam and some other places before, but nothing like this. So I knew that there was a lot of things to figure out, but I also knew that we'd figure them out together.
So after a lot of I think trial and error, we got the logistics part fixed, and I think when you gave us the news that I think on Skype again, it's now weird to say Skype because we don't do Skype anymore. So it's just it's Zoom.
At that time, I still remember Greg didn't have the Skype in his computer, so he had to get someone to fix it.
I know. I didn't
now you are so active.
I should have had you over there to help me
change.
out. I needed somebody to help me out. I'm not the best with technology. You all know that, right?
WhatsApp. You should get the WhatsApp now.
Okay.
It's very handy now. So.
We can do that.
So we were so happy when you said you can let's go with the full franchise and now have Crimson Cup. And then we thought of, I think that this we did with the second store.
With the Harmony store in 2016,
Yeah, in 2016 it was a Crimson Cup, I think, with the second store. So, like you said, we in Bangladesh never had the opportunity to wait 90 days. Because if you wait even 15 days, a location you have chosen is gone. That's the situation of the real estate, and it's not too many good places are available all the time. So, and I'm talking about 8 years back, and now it's even worse. So, how do you see when you're now here in 2022, and we have seen Crimson Cup in a lot of areas of Bangladesh and in Dhaka city? I never asked you, how do you feel? How's your feeling that a brand that you created, which is your baby and your dream and your passion and everything, your life basically. So it's now spread across Dhaka city, and hopefully, will by God's grace would be spreading across Bangladesh. So how do you feel? How do you feel seeing this?
Well, I feel so many different emotions. Really, I feel awesome because it's you all have worked hard in making sure that the brand is truly the brand that it is that Crimson Cup is. So that's really important to me. The other piece is that everybody here, right? Everybody who I've met, the whole team here, Team Crimson Cup Bangladesh is phenomenal. And really work hard, want to do the right thing in terms of making coffee, being hospitable, doing those types of things. So our vision is to create meaningful relationships that inspire healthy communities. So that's really where it goes back to me, is the relationships that we've formed with other people here who are involved with Crimson Cup, and even with the managers who I met, a lot of them for the first time yesterday. They're all fantastic, right? So they're all want to learn and getting to know them a little bit. That's something that really drives me. So the relationship piece is something that really drives me, and seeing all those and seeing the signs, the big signs, which are really hard to get in the United States, and seeing the huge Crimson Cup signs, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is really cool.
Right. So, no, our job is, to try hard, and if the intentions are correct, I think we should go far. And I'm happy. I'm happy that we were able to repay the trust that you showed on us.
Yeah, because that time it was like doing Crimson Cup was actually a joke at that point, because you were not trusting us, and even our people around us, like friends and family, were not trusting us also. So there was some point in time after you said us like no, we could have just not think about it, but we still kept believing that okay, let's do it. And that was the whole point, and maybe this can turn into something big. So that trust we had, when a thing doesn't happen, everything is so negative around you. but still we had to be like positive in that time and just go forward. And it was only us, and even though we don't know why we actually get trusted in this, we cannot say that okay, I was doing better, he was doing better. It's not that also. It's just like us only, and there were a few other people also, and we were just being positive. Okay, let's do this, and this will happen. And then even after we opened Columbus Coffee, we were also like the first week was so bad, and we were sitting on the couch, and there was a place called like a Chinese place upstairs. And we started saving money. That okay, the business is going so bad. Let's not eat much, outside, spending money, And then afterwards, that the first weekend that Greg, what happened with Columbus Coffee, and of course, like thanks to you, and also thanks to the product also, because the first week we saw a huge line at the Bolani store from the counter till the door. So, and after that, it never stopped. So, and we don't know why. And he also did a good job with the marketing also, and he also helped him also with the marketing plan and everything, because we did not do anything traditional. Like serving the coffee, like how to be served, the marketing approach, the product, the stores, everything was not traditional. Everyone is serving coffee in the table, but we were very adamant that we have to do the real self-service, taking the coffee by yourself, and we had to also focus on the training by Steve, that how to talk to the customer while taking the orders, and we have a huge process for that also, right? So everything together, I believe that actually made us what we're today. So. And he always says that we don't know what is a success, like why we are successful. So I think that's true. We actually don't know like how this becomes successful.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to write a book like you did, we wouldn't be able to write a book.
He wrote for like 7 steps.
7 steps. No, we read the book. And I always say that when people come and ask me, how did you make this successful? I can't pinpoint stuff. I said, just believe. Just believe that you can do it. Just believe that, that if you believe in something and you want to do it, I mean, just have the belief in your heart, and it should be okay.
It should be okay. Yeah. That's right. It will be okay, right? No matter what. So, but that's a great point to make. And like I do tell people when I'm giving speeches and talking to different groups back in the U.S., just what it is that I knew that you all believed. I knew all that you were going to work hard to do it. And then it's just a matter of following through on that and making sure you do it, even though there's going to be really, really tough times, right? And working through that and making sure. And then, for me, when I told people I was going to start a coffee company, getting out of computer software, because that's what I did before starting coffee, everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And maybe they were right. But, it turned out okay, right? I love the business that we're in. I love the relationships that we've made. And so this may be another one. I think there might be a book in there, Rehanur, in the future. Yeah. There could be. I think there might be.
Absolutely. I mean, just our job now is to work hard, harder than before, and take this forward and make this bigger, and just with your support and with the support of the people of Bangladesh and our fans and our customers, I think there's a huge scope for this. And right now, we are also wanting to venture into the roasting aspect. I think which will benefit us, and which will benefit also a lot of other coffee shops that we intend to cater to. So this is going to be a new experience in the journey, I think. So
I think we have been talking to you about roasting for the last 8 years. Yeah. So why you did not let us do roasting for the last 8 years?
I think what I've learned too is that, you're right. I mean, it's going to be phenomenal. There's so many great things that can happen with bringing a lot of things and doing a lot of things that we do in the States over here. because really it can be very similar to that. And that's an exciting piece, right? What I've learned is, because I'm old enough where I divide my career into decades now.
Right.
So the first decade for me was learning and teaching people about specialty coffee. The second decade was getting into, we work very closely with coffee farmers around the world, right? So we wanted to make sure that those relationships were there.
Yeah.
They're very strong because we travel everywhere. And then really, the last decade for us was making sure that we had the best coffee, not because we said so, but because others said so.
Yeah.
So we spent so much time, and with the Golden Bean, which is the largest coffee competition in the world, which we won that trophy. So a lot of people don't know there's a trophy for having the best coffee in the world. Well, we won that, right? And we won multiple different awards, National Coffee Roast of the Year, Good Food Awards for the best tasting coffee and most responsibly sourced. So we put a lot of energy and effort into what it is that we do. By the same token, we love what we do, and we don't take ourselves too seriously. So we get excited about working with a whole bunch of relationships and bringing all of that over here. There's a time for it, and the time is right. The time is now.
Right.
And so that's the exciting piece where we can kind of step in, because what I found is I can't do everything at once.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Greg is a bit slow with his decisions sometimes. So now he told me this time that don't follow me, Mohaimin. So, so finally you are like, you gave it my way.
That's
No,
right.
I think we have a perfect balance. We rush into things, and we are rapid where the making decisions are concerned, and you are a bit laid back and you say, just hold on, let's see what happens, and then we do that. And I think we have done everything when the time is right, and I think the time is right now for what we are trying to do once again in this industry. So hopefully that will bode well for all of us as well. So yeah, I guess it's nice reminiscing these memories, and talking about how we started, and I don't think we ever talked about this, and what happened back in 2014, and how things came into reckoning. It was good. It was good.
But do you have any questions for us and anything except the business part, like the future with Crimson Cup, and
here's what I appreciate, and obviously haven't been able to come over in the last couple of years, and that's been hard for all of us. But I mean, being able to come here again and to see you guys, because it's one thing now we're Zoom now and not Skype, but nonetheless, that's good. I appreciate doing that. But at the same time, it's always great to be here. It's great to be here talking with everybody, continuing to build our relationship, and seeing everything that's out here. And by the way, the cuisine here is phenomenal. So thank you so much for taking me to that wedding.
Great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, that is the top, or it's definitely one of the top experiences. So I love that. So thank you for taking me there.
You had kachi biryani, just remember.
Yeah.
I guess we can end the conversation here and get back to more work. Yeah?
That's right. Time to
thank you
go.
very much, Greg. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right.